All right, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about that everybody should be doing is labs or just hands-on, getting your hands-on practice. This to me is like going to the gym, right? This is where you're going to start leveling up. This is where you start with you doing exercises with just like 5 pounds, and then you add 5 more pounds. Now you're doing 10 pounds. Same thing. You're going to try to grow your skills. You're going to try to level up, try to get your, I'm try to rep your max. You're going to try to do the same thing with your skills. You're going to try to lab up complex things. Start off with just basic. I just wanted to share an interesting stat that I found out when I was doing the research to create this video. And that stat was that knowledge is doubling every 2 to 3 years. As you know, if you're taking any kind of Cisco exams, right, they're revamping that exam every 3 years or so because the technology, they got to keep up with it. I really try to reflect and try to figure out what that means to me, what that means for us, right? If we're studying and everything, and if we're working in this field. And this is going across any field. Today's current stats are showing that in every field, right? No matter what you're doing, medicine, whatever, that the knowledge is doubling every 2 to 3 years because you got these technology advancements like AI and Web 3.0, all this kind of stuff, and it's coming at a rapid pace. So when I'm thinking about it, that means to me that if I'm not doubling my knowledge every 2 to 3 years, I'm gonna become obsolete or lose my marketplace value, right? As a network engineer or any kind of role in IT that I may choose to have. So the first thing, just like when I got into computer networking and network administration, you definitely have to get these certifications. These certifications are important. I found in my experience, they're important for getting job roles, but they also provide you with the basics and the fundamentals. These entry level certifications, like a CCNA, which is arguably entry level, right? But maybe a Net Plus or a Security Plus, which is something that I am currently working on. Because just like in the networking field, no matter how high you get up with these complex topics, you can ask the best gurus out there. If your fundamentals and that foundation ain't strong, you ain't gonna be able to troubleshoot those complex routing problems or complex network issues. That just reminds me of just an interview that Kobe did with somebody where he just explained about the basics and having those fundamentals and why that makes him the greatest, because the person interviewing was like, why do you work so hard on some basic fundamental like layup drills or things that middle school kids are doing if you're the greatest player in the world? And Kobe just replied and just let him know that, why do you think I am the greatest player in the world? And to me, that was so profound, really profound, right? And that translates into this professional career, right, in IT. If you have those fundamentals down and everything, and you practice them subnetting or whatever the case may be, or learning STP or certain things like that. If you're going for Cisco, if you get those fundamentals down, when you get those complex issues, you'll be able to build on something because you have a foundation. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about that everybody should be doing is labs or just hands-on, getting your hands-on practice. This to me is like going to the gym, right? This is where you're going to start leveling up. This is where you start with you doing exercises with just like 5 pounds, and then you add 5 more pounds. Now you're doing 10 pounds. Same thing. You're going to try to grow your skills. You're going to try to level up, try to get your, I'm try to rep your max. You're going to try to do the same thing with your skills. You're going to try to lab up complex things. Start off with just basic 2 to 3 router setups, and then grow that to adding a switch and adding users and adding these servers and everything on your network and growing them into those complex things. That's what labs is going to do. It's going to get you that hands-on experience, because the certs are going to show the employer that you got the discipline to understand and study and stick with these technical concepts and grasp them at just like an intellectual level, but at a physical level, you can get down and put your hands on this equipment and you can create labs. Finally, right here, I'm going to just discuss just personal development, or this is where you're just going to look at yourself and say, is this stuff really worth it? Because when you're starting out, you're going to be starting from nothing. So there's going to be a lot of frustrating days, a lot of frustrating times, and it's like, are you going to be consistent? Are you going to keep doing this? Is this something that you really want to do? And that question you can only answer for yourself. Do you want to sacrifice? And you got to understand that this comes with the territory, right? You're gonna have to sacrifice time with friends and families. You can't be, if you got kids, you can't be with your kids all the time being super dad or super mom. You're gonna have to organize that time. If you do want to share that time with your family, you're gonna have to have a wonderful work-life balance with your job. And then outside of work, you're just going to have to be super organized and super disciplined. In my experience, I haven't been able to find the time to share with family and friends when I'm trying to study somewhere, I'm trying to level up, and I'm trying to ascend in this career, or just personally with myself, just even outside of the career, just trying to become a better person, right? It takes a lot of time and energy. And we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So you have to be really mindful if you're going to choose this. You have to be really mindful of what you're choosing, because you're going to have to stay consistent in order to do that. So if you are going to make that leap and you're going to try to stay consistent and try to attain this goal of becoming the top tier engineer or whatever in your field, you're going to have to know that, again, nobody that is at the top tier at any field just started out that way. Everybody had to start from zero base, right? Like no knowledge. So you have to keep reminding yourself that even if you're working with this engineer that's souped up, just know that he wasn't souped up forever. And just know that the only way that he got there or she got there or anybody gets to whatever that destination is that they have to make that decision. And then you just got to stand on business, because life is going to give you circumstances. We've all had our fair share. Everybody's going to have the death in the family. Everybody's going to have the heartbreak, the difficulties and everything all the circumstances are going to be different, right? And the degree of which you experience the heartbreak or the loss is going to be different. But what remains the same is that we're all human. We're all going to experience the same kind of circumstances in life. And we're all trying to have all of this kind of peace of mind and everything in our life. So no matter what gets thrown at you, you're just going to have to stay consistent. You got sick, okay, well, you just set yourself back from being sick, but you're going to have to keep moving forward, get that health better and everything. But the decision has been made and there ain't no looking back. You have to continue to go forward. And I'm saying that to say it to myself as well. And make sure to stay tuned with your boy, so when I drop that video next week, you tapped in with all the good information on getting better and succeeding in this IT field. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I'm going to catch y'all on that next video. Holla at me.